Welcome to Squad, your favorite source for everything esports and gaming. We have a jam-packed broadcast for you tonight, so here's what to expect. Lisa and AJ go head-to-head in Unmuted, giving us their takes on the top stories and more. Then in Esports in 30, AJ and Zerk are talking PUBG. But first, let's take a look at these hot plays and plays of the week.
No, I'll go sub in Leffen real quick. I'll go sub in.
Leffen's actually right there.
Yeah, so. Leffen. Hey, what's up? Hey, Vision and Dylan. It is so good to see you. I'm having a great time at Pound.
When that, another ball headed back to the blue side. Flakes now trying to make this play himself. Got around one, got around two. Tie game again.
Oh my goodness, Flakes putting on an absolute showcase. Pops this ball up. Nice little fake to get by one, and then just goes high and soft to put it under the crossbar.
Oh, no. I think we're getting one more set. I mean, the Ally already at 84%, finally finds a way down to the ground Stairmaster.
21.
Okay, nice.
Right there, one.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh no!
2 and
Chaos is just going to snap their fingers and push on in yet again, but Goga doing his damnedest. He takes out 2 so far in this round, under fire from multiple angles as Vitaline is getting that plant down. He's got the safety of the bar around him. Oh, but there's Goga! He's going to grab his 3rd kill. Krips is also down, and look at how low Secretly is. This is so winnable for Goga. It's a 1v1, 5 seconds left, but Goga picks up kills 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Because those recoveries from Mango were so good, and yet HBox still finishes that edge guard.
Yep. You definitely made him work for it.
Oh my God! 49%!
That's how we're starting out.
49%! Yoshi Story Mango.
He gets the next shot. Somp survives, able to absorb a couple shots before Fallen puts him down. It is only Fallen left. Nifty needs some help right now. If Fallen can deal with him fast enough, he'd have 2 1v1s, but time is a problem. Here comes JDM through the smoke, and Fallen hits it! Unreal! 1v2.
Again, that one's going to be high. Net could be open here. It is, and Devo adding some flair on. That's a hat trick for him.
Just exploiting so much of these defensive mistakes and the rotations.
Look at that. Woo! That was nasty.
Okay,
You would need
I
like
mean,
30 Pikmin, bro. Like
that would be
in Army.
That'd be some elongated Pikmin at 3, like that mean stretch.
Not gonna be enough. Yeah. Still good, some good damage. Also great.
Oh my God, sir!
That's the mark! Stop!
Shazam has a deagle. He's making his way out, making his way downtown, and Infinite spotted him up there as well. Both teams are just shuffling up, down, up, down. Where does it end? Nice shot from Shazam. He's looking for more as well. That's bomb spotted. Finally, Complexity can start to commit to the upper side. Another one from Jet.
Oh my
He's out
God.
of his mind.
What the hell was that?
Microwave. EMP coming in. Ooh, from Ding. I thought he was going to use it. He does use it instead. That's a huge one. Whoa, it's a big EMP into a huge Earth Shatter from Gamsu, actually. The timing on that was impeccable. That was beautiful.
Nasty.
Oh, it's party time and Chikarin's invited.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, here we go.
Why did you say that, Mark?
I want to see parties, man.
Oh my God, look at the health.
And the demon, and the demon. Let's go.
I can't believe what we're seeing. And look at the life bar. Oh my goodness.
Is he probably has a sliver, right?
Almost a
He might have a sliver.
combo.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
To adjust in game number 3.
And it's all the challenge game for me.
Okay.
Great.
Beautiful. K-Dop and Scrub Killa styling on him. Watch this setup. Scrub Killa finds K-Dop on the backwards. Like, there you go, Scrub. Have another one.
Right back
what a
down.
play.
Go get it.
Okay.
Takes the shot. He could go for the grenade.
He's got
What's he
frag.
gonna do? He's just sneaking up back behind it. Is this gonna be the turning point? Can Captain come up big? It's gonna land right up in their feet. Oh my God! Captain just destroyed 17 Gaming.
Are you kidding me? Captain with the huge grenade and a block kill, looking to push through here. This could be Incognito's game.
Welcome to Unmuted, where we got your gaming and esports hot topics, hot tweets, and spiciest memes. I'm Lisa Dwan.
And I am AJ Fry, and this is how the show is going to work. Producer Tyler puts 2 minutes on the board for each topic that we will present and most likely argue. And lucky for Lisa, there's a mute button here, so if I ever get annoying and I won't stop talking, like I just drone on and on and on endlessly, there's a moment where she can just interrupt. Yeah, so you get the idea.
You get the idea. All right, shout out to chat, because we love it when you call AJ out when he's wrong and praise me when I'm spitting the truth. So let's get right to it. Let's dive right into today's top stories with some big news from Blizzard. The Overwatch developer announced yesterday that its annual convention celebrating its games will be returning in 2019. BlizzCon 2019 will take place in its usual spot at the Anaheim Convention Center from November 1st to the 2nd.
BlizzCon is usually filled with big announcements for Blizzard's games, plenty of fan events, and esports competitions like the Overwatch World Cup. All right, AJ, do you think that this event is made for an annual kind of sense? Like it should come back every single year? Or is that too much?
I actually think that it's good at once a year.
Yeah.
I mean, they have so many different properties that they're in charge of. Hearthstone, you got Overwatch, you got StarCraft, Warcraft. They're redoing Warcraft 3.
You didn't mention Heroes of the Storm.
I did mention Heroes of the Storm. I forgot about that one. As
It's
did
okay,
everyone
you're not
else.
the only one.
Exactly. But I saved Diablo for last because they're making a Diablo mobile game, and I'm sure everyone's going to want updates on that one again at the next BlizzCon.
AJ, I don't think anyone wants updates on that one.
That's
Other than being that it's canceled.
Yeah.
I think that's the only update people would want.
But mobile gaming's a thing. What? You don't have phones? Crickets.
so.
Crickets.
That's true. Okay, listen. I'm actually not against mobile game. I know a lot of people like to, poop on it, but I think on the other hand, it is the future. I think it is going there. So
well, I mean, all of our consoles are getting smaller and smaller, and the Switch is now a mobile device. I think
that's true.
It'll be interesting to see what the PS5 is like if it's got some sort of compatibility like the Switch.
That's
but
true.
we're going off topic from Blizzard and their annual events.
Is BlizzCon not just a big circle jerk for itself?
It totally is,
Oh,
but name another company of that scale in gaming. I mean, the only one I can think of would maybe be Valve, and Valve really hasn't done anything interesting as of late. But there's no other company out there with that many games that are just made by one company. There's EA and Ubisoft. I guess Ubisoft could have an annual convention. They've got quite a few games, and they've got their annual titles as well that they do, like Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed and so many.
That'd be sick, an event like that.
Yeah, but Ubisoft just has amazing parties at E3, so there's that too.
Speaking of. Well, we'll see how the BlizzCon this year works out.
Yeah, it would be great if they could invite us so that we could go, and then we would have a very different perspective on BlizzCon. But now,
convert us.
Let's. How are we on time? Can we move on to Rainbow Six?
Let's
All right. In Rainbow Six Siege, Ubisoft has launched a new bug hunting program that rewards players for finding and reporting bugs in game by using the R6 Fix website. Great name. Players can report bugs that they find, and if Ubisoft's QA team can replicate it, then they'll get a cute chibi charm as a reward. Ubisoft plans to put more rewards into the program in the future. So, of course, this is the question. Should players be taking on the role of bug hunters, or is that really more QA's responsibility? And wasn't there an era where games would come out and there just wouldn't really be any bugs? I remember that time. I was about this tall, but...
So about the same as now.
Hey.
Wait, whoa, no height shaming here. No height shaming here. That's interesting. I think nowadays with the pressure of so many games coming out at once, so many free-to-play games coming out at once, there's a pressure for developers to consistently put out new games and more content, right?
And it's also the platforms. It used to be when we would get those games, it would be like, did you get it for Genesis or SNES? Or the N64 or the PlayStation? And now it's which version of the game do you have downloaded? Which platform are you playing it on? What's your hardware settings on different even configurations? They just announced the digital-only version of the Xbox One X. So there's so many different hardwares out there.
Is there no ability to patch for these games? They're consistently fixing as we go, right?
That's the thing, yeah. So that's why you need to have your player base is constantly bug hunting anyway. It's now they're just adding in this ability to hunt the bugs and reward players who discover them, but they've also got to be replicatable so that you're not just submitting some weird photoshopped glitch screen that you made.
True.
I want a chibi.
True. So. I think this is actually a great idea because this brings the community together, right? You know what? There's always going to be bugs that people miss, the company misses. So the fact that they're getting help from other people, the community, it's just the smart way to do it. What I have an issue with is that the reward is a chibi charm. What the? You guys, loosen the purse a little. What kind of prize is that?
It should be a chibi charm with a bunch of money for your store. If it's the Ubisoft store,
They're paying their QA analysts, their analysts probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're giving people a chibi charm. I forgot which esport or which company did this, but before we had another story where they were rewarding people with money, actual thousands of dollars if you find a bug. If you guys remember, right in chat, they were rewarding people. Yes.
Wow.
So I think they need to step up here, all right? Moving over the business side of video games, Epic Games CEO said that he would end exclusivity deals for the Epic Games Store on one condition. Steam would have to offer developers an 88-12 revenue sharing split. In fact, Sweeney said that Epic would consider putting its own games on Steam if that were to happen. AJ, do you think this is genuine? what do you think about that split too?
I think maybe it is genuine, and I think as the world changes, as more companies figure out how to deliver what Steam ultimately, innovated with the introduction of Steam for the, PC marketplace, you got to move in this direction. This is an interesting product that we're pushing, especially when you don't have overhead of like traditional, brick and mortar stores where everything's digital now.
Yeah.
You've got to give a lot more of that money to the people who actually work on the content that's being bought when all you're ultimately providing is just the little transaction services.
Middleman.
Yeah, so I think he's absolutely right. 88 to 12%, so 12% goes to Steam and 88% goes to the developer. I don't think that's unreasonable at all.
Do you think these developers really need these kind of stores? Like, what's really their benefit to do it? Like, people will go to the Epic Store or buy the game itself directly, right?
But the benefit is discovery, right? Like, you're on Steam and you open Steam to play the game that you always play, but then Steam has that graphic there and it's for the new game and it's got the little advertisement. You're like, oh, that's kind of intriguing. So it's like going to the store. Yes, when we launch Steam, you're not launching it to necessarily go buy something, but you might, just like going up to the cash. Oh, what's this little knick-knack there?
I'm guilty of buying random stuff near the cashier all the time.
Especially during this, summer sale and everything like that, where they've got the deals on. That's why it's important to have these, distribution platforms.
Right.
And I think it's important to maintain that high percentage for the developers who put in all the work creating the stuff.
100%.
You do need to, obviously have some back-end income to support the distribution platform, but it's nice that we're agreeing on something.
I know, actually, no, I really agree that you got to reward these, developers, of course, or you can do what Respawn did and just paid a bunch of influencers to promote your game, because that seems to be the new thing everyone's doing, and that worked for Apex. So maybe this is a new way of marketing that Fortnite or Epic or any other company needs to get on. Just saying.
Well, speaking of more marketing, our final story of the day, the Dallas Fuel, the Overwatch team, has gotten a brand new sponsor for this weekend's Homestead Series, and that sponsor is Bud Light. The series has actually been renamed to the Bud Light Homestead Weekend. As a result of the sponsorship, fans who attend the event can go to a Bud Light bar and see the Bud Night in person, and viewers can see the beer advertised on the official Overwatch League stream. So what do you think of the Bud Light sponsorship here? Lisa, is it a good fit for Overwatch League? Because I thought their official refreshment was Coca-Cola.
I'd rather talk about what you're doing with your voice right now. What's happening?
I'm contractually obligated to say Bud Light.
Really? Can we get you to say, like, unmuted in a certain way?
Unmuted.
That's the same voice. You got to mix it up.
I've got my one announcer radio guy voice, and that's it.
Well, this is actually kind of cool because we don't see a lot of alcohol sponsorships in esports, but isn't this kind of also then limiting, like, the age group? Like, if they sponsor a certain event, then people under the drinking age can't go? Or, like, what's the deal there?
I don't know.
Right?
Hey, little Timmy, are you ready for a refreshing crisp Pilsner from Bud Light?
Sold! That was great.
I think it's good that we've got these, because alcohol companies, obviously, it's a big business. They've got the money to throw around. They should be in the esports scene.
But Bud Light?
Yeah, but Bud Light, it's just too bad that it's such a crappy beer that's sponsored.
I was going to say it, but I was scared to say it.
No, Bud Light is terrible. Bud Light is just,
It's basically water, so maybe in that case, kids can drink it.
Well, beer is basically water, just a few other ingredients. But yeah, Bud Light is just, no, it's like water tastes better than Bud Light. If option A or B, it's B, no matter what B is compared to Bud Light. Sorry, that's just being honest. All right, now it's time to see what streamers are up to in Clip It. Our first clip comes from Method Josh, who's just preaching the tough truths of trying to exercise and work out.
What are you going to do about your arms? Oh, the fact that I have skinny noodle arms? Probably nothing. I'm probably going to think, wow, I should really work out and never actually do it and continue to languish in mediocrity for the entire my life. Until I look back and I regret everything. I realize it's far too late and this was it and this is all I'll ever be.
That's so real.
Story of my life. Although it's not entirely true. Both Lisa and I have been going to the gym a bit recently.
You've been going more. If anyone noticed, yesterday I tweeted out that I skipped the gym to stream and watch Squad. So priorities, guys. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
I've had a friend visiting. I had to do my taxes.
But you went to the gym.
No, I haven't been to the gym in a week. It's my first week. I've been pretty consistent for like 2 months, but then
I know.
But then I've been a week off. But I'm gonna go hard for May. Because having a fit body, fit mind, then you can do all your gaming better.
You need to, and advance out of diamond, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right in Overwatch?
I'm still sustaining diamond. I'm still sustaining.
Must be all that gym workout that's been helping you.
It's the new healthy me, healthy attitude.
Thanks. See, guys, gamers do work out, kind of. All right, our next clip is from Andy, I'm going to mess up this last name, Milanakis, who caught Hube Sama getting upset that someone was filming him.
Did you say yes? From who? You can stream? Yeah, for us. What about? I feel like you're the only one that has the issue. What? I feel like you're the only one that has the issue. Serious? Whoa! Whoa! Serious? Dude! Whoa! Chill, 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 chill. What are you talking about, dude? I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything about it. Dude, what are you talking about? Why are you breaking my phone?
Chill, chill. Oh my God, spicy reaction there. All right, how do you feel about streamers, streaming in real life and not getting people's permission around them? Was Hubsama in the wrong to do that? That was kind of extreme.
I mean, it's wrong to assault someone and smack a phone out of someone's hand, obviously. But it does raise an interesting question as we're seeing more and more people doing this live streaming in person. I've done this a few times, walking down the street.
Smack cameras out of their hands?
Like going live on Instagram. I haven't figured out how to go live on Twitch yet, but I'm working on it. But yeah, if we start seeing more and more of this, I think it is invasive. I think people, you want to go outside and enjoy yourself, not necessarily appear online, broadcast somewhere. For people who might have a little bit of notoriety, that's another thing as well. Like if you're
sure, but the way he reacted was ridiculous.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed 100%.
How about a little, hey buddy, can you put that camera away? I don't want to be filmed right now. That was just, honestly, that was like a cry for help on his part. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Pause on the street and let them walk past you, turn your back. But my concern is that are we gonna eventually reach a world where where streaming your life just becomes so normal that you really have no way of remaining private in your daily ongoings? Is there no way that you can escape the all-seeing eye of the internet? Well, we're heading there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, listen, I'm honestly, maybe this is a millennial thing where I just kind of assume that nothing is private. And so when you're also out in public, it's kind of like, that's kind of free game. Obviously, don't get up in my face, don't be evasive in that way. But if I'm in the background or something, whatever. That's just the way it is, You have a right to be in public and do your own thing. I have a right to. I can leave if I don't like it, but it's just kind of the way it is.
Where will I politely excuse myself to go fart? If everywhere is on stream, you need a fart zone somewhere. You need excuse me, could you mute your stream? I need to fart.
Well, maybe you control your bowels, all right? Moving on, it's time to see what the pros have been sharing on social media with profound thoughts. The first post comes from IGN's executive editor of reviews, Dan Stapleton. He says, for those wondering, the reason IGN Italy, IGN Spain, IGN Japan, etc. sometimes give games higher or lower scores than we do is that their reviews are written by completely different human beings. Hello? Hello? Is it kind of silly that he had to take to Twitter to say something like that?
No. Oh man, I've been doing this talking on camera for years now, and I mean, overall, people are pretty smart. People get things, but it's not that uncommon that you have to go and say stuff that you believe should be incredibly obvious to everyone. Like when certain TV shows get canceled, working for a TV company for so long, so many people, why did this show get canceled? I can't believe you canceled the show. The answer is overwhelmingly not enough people were watching to make it worth making anymore for the amount of money that it was costing to get made. And people are still all the time, why did you cancel it? I can't believe you canceled my favorite show. Sorry, that's just a personal rant from me. But yeah, of course, these websites are gonna have different writers. They're in different countries, writing in different languages for different markets.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
The whole concept of reviews too, it's like an opinion-based thing, guys. So obviously one person's gonna like something more than the other. There's no universal objective review. So hello, guys, it's okay for it to be different in different countries.
Let IGN have their diversified reviewers. All right, next up, Alex Jabali, the president and CEO of CEO Gaming, who you may know as the Jabated emote that you're welcome to spam right now in chat if you'd like. He tweets, if anyone on my timeline spreads the leaked endgame footage and is registered for CEO 2019, your registration will be refunded and name placed on a forever banned list. Thank you for your cooperation.
Abusive power!
We should believe him unless this is a debate right here, but I think the seriousness surrounding this film, I'm kind of taking him at face value.
Yeah, no, this
don't spoil endgame.
Is the biggest thing of this millennial. Okay, maybe that's a little exaggeration. But the point is, this is
most hype
10
movie
years in the making?
Of the past, 20 years?
That's what I'm saying. So people are taking it seriously. You don't mess with this. I think if Game of Thrones is big, this is bigger.
At least on par. At least
really?
on par.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't
What
know.
are the
That's
numbers of like? Probably
Marvel's
bigger.
bigger. Come on.
All right, Marvel's bigger all over the world, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. So it's kind of funny though that he's like, I will ban you from this event if you spoil. Or why don't you just not look at social media? Though that might be impossible at this day and age too.
I feel like banning is even kind of a kind of boring punishment, knowing what happens at his events. Like he could have come up with something a little bit more fun, I think, as a possible punishment. But then you don't want to incentivize people, you know, actually spoiling it in order to be a part of whatever fun punishment that he would have in mind. And
Just stop talking. You went off too long on that one. Anyways, moving on. Our last profound thought comes from CSGO pro CLG Die, calling out another pro for something perhaps someone in chat could be found guilty of. Good morning to everyone, but at Goose Breeder, she still has her Christmas tree up. Goose Breeder, it's gonna be May. It's gonna be May. Justin Timberlake, what's that? If you know, you know. What do you think about, you know, Christmas tree still up in May? Are we judging?
Yeah, have our Christmas trees down. You know, I'm gonna throw someone else that we both know under the bus here. Morgan Hoffman, who has appeared on our show before here, often has her Christmas tree up until around this time as well.
Why?
Because she loves Christmas so much.
But don't you love it more because it's once in a year? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you gotta keep that time special. You don't gotta leave your tree up this long. I think she got it down by February, but still.
We have someone here also, like Camille. She's a crazy Christmas lover. A month before Christmas begins, she's already singing songs, and you know how Camille likes to sing. But the point is, you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I'm the kind of person that's so lazy, I don't mind leaving my Christmas tree up all year round. Why? We're just gonna have to take another week to put it up again. It's a cute decoration.
Just to move on, because it's time to get to some crowd control. This is where we showcase some of the greater Simply Dank things the community has been making. How dank, you wonder? Well, his first post came to us from Quick_Iron, who was questioning why he was banned from Rocket League. There you go. Reason that you were banned is something offensive in your chat log. Ooh, that was lit, just like Notre Dame.
That's nervous laughter.
No, I don't think that joke is terrible. Like, as tragic as it was, no one got hurt. There are certainly worse things than just an ancient building partially burning down. It's salvageable. And a whole bunch of billionaires were just
there
like,
goes
hey,
our viewers from France.
we can...
Nice knowing you guys. Thanks,
They're probably feeling much the same way. I mean, yeah, it's tragic, but like, it's just a joke. No one got hurt.
No, I actually...
There are real tragedies that deserve far more attention than Notre Dame.
I 100% agree. I think, obviously, some people were sensitive about it, but it's like a dank joke. Should he really have been banned, though? Like,
no.
That's kind of a little ridiculous.
He said it must have been a temporary ban.
It was a one-day ban, I believe.
Well, that's even a bit much for just a joke that didn't include any profanity, didn't put down anyone. I'm sure that,
sensitive.
I mean, if we all write a heartfelt apology to the building, I'm sure it will forgive us.
Once it rebuilds itself. All right, often when we're playing video games, we have to suspend logic or even certain facts about reality like game physics or healing, as YouTuber Sven Johnson pointed out. Can we give like that was just Pog for the acting, right?
Yeah,
Poggers,
that
major
was
poggers.
Well played right there.
That is a really good point though. Healing in games is pretty ridiculous. Is there anything else you can think of maybe games do that doesn't really make sense when you think about it?
Well, I mean, forget even healing, just like watching the Mortal Kombat 11 gameplay as of late, you know, you like rip the guy's face off mid-fight, puncture his heart.
The best one is when you kick that guy in the crotch and his spine and his like head comes out at the top.
Well,
like...
there's the fatalities that end the match, but even those like fighting moments where you're just like, you couldn't come back from that. There's no way, and there's no moment of, hold on a second, let me wrap a bandage around my, you know, fractured arm here. There's
bullet holes.
Yeah, they just continue on fighting. So yeah, video game logic is just, makes no sense.
But the good thing about video games is that it is a piece of art, so we have to suspend our disbelief.
Yeah.
And so, and then there are games that like, I think with Mortal Kombat it's different because it's obviously supernatural. There's like a supernatural element. But when there's games that are supposed to reflect reality, you know, there's that one game where it's like just a volleyball game where the girls are just like naked, but then their boobs are like this. You know what I'm talking about? I forgot the name of it.
What's this game? You got to tell
AJ,
me more about this.
We'll talk about it later.
Let's move on. I know we did briefly mention it earlier, but I really can't contain myself. Avengers Endgame, it is almost here. When are you watching it?
Okay, I booked it for a week from now, so I'm waiting a whole week to watch the damn movie. I don't know if I'll survive.
I'm going as soon as I'm done here. The movie is, of course, the biggest thing that everyone is talking about, and to bring it back to gaming, Socks for One made this a very cool crossover featuring Apex Legends and Marvel.
That was pretty epic.
I thought that was well done. I especially appreciated seeing Lifeline with the alt charge, alt accelerant there, which my friends and I, whenever we play on the Lifeline main, they just feed me all the alt charge constantly. Shout out to Velvet and Restless Jester if you're watching out there.
Wow, okay. And we also saw big names. Ninja was in there, Keemstar was in there. So that was a really sick video. But of course, I want to know, this is a really cool thought experiment that we can all do in chat too.
Yeah.
So if we had to make esports part of the Avengers, so like designate an esport to an Avenger character, who would be what? Did I say that right? Yeah.
I think so.
So who are you thinking? So like the first one that came to my mind is, let's take Iron Man, okay? So Iron Man is known for having a lot of money, but he's kind of like a wreck, right? He's kind of like all over the place and kind of cocky.
Yeah.
I thought of Fortnite right away.
For
Fortnite,
sure.
right? So much money, but they don't know what they're doing.
Classic, organized, staple, sometimes overlooked. StarCraft 2, Captain America.
Oh, 100%. Like Captain America, the pillar of Avengers, and then we got StarCraft, which is basically the start of esports, right? So that one makes sense. Actually, AJ, if you were an Avenger, who would you be?
Who would I be?
Yeah, you're kind of pulling like a Rocket look right now.
Rocket Raccoon?
Yeah.
Just because I have the dark circles under my eyes.
That's right.
I wanted to be Star-Lord, but now I'm a raccoon.
100% no.
How do I lower this chair?
Or maybe like Wolverine, but like cousin.
That gag didn't work. I can't lower this chair.
F in chat, F in chat. All right, guys, that's it for Unmuted. Remember that you can always hit us up on our socials. Someone type in !socials right now. It's not going to be me in chat for all our channels, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
I am Groot.
Do you think a bike, because Daryl from Walking Dead also has a bike in post-apocalyptic world, do you think that's actually a good choice in vehicle?
Well, on the one hand, it's
yeah.
nimble. Like, the better choice would be an actual bicycle because it's silent.
Wanted a fruit
Yes.
And you
Doesn't run
manage
out
the
of
same
gas.
mobility.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it when we could give you a glimpse of a new game to whet your gamer palate, but if you have any suggestions of what we should play in the green room, let us know on our socials. In a bit, AJ and Zurich are actually talking to Mustache Dave about FACEIT Global Summit in eSports in 30, but first, let me get you caught up on everything that you need to know and reported. According to a new report, Rick Fox is set to leave Echo Fox after a shareholder directed racist remarks at CEO Jace Hall in multiple emails. The report says that Rick Fox sent an email to shareholders last week stating that he would leave the organization he helped found as a result of the comments. While Rick Fox has not made a statement on the matter, Riot Games announced that it would be launching an investigation into the LCS team, while Echo Fox said that the person who made the comments is a limited partner with the org. We'll keep you updated further as the story develops. Riot Games is collaborating with Marvel Comics once again to create a brand new League of Legends comic. The new comic will focus on Lux, the light mage from the city of Demacia, as she tries to hide her powers from her brother and her kingdom. Riot showcased a teaser video for the comic this week, which will be released in 5 parts starting on May 8th. This is the second collaboration between Riot and Marvel, following a comic focusing on Ashe that launched earlier this year. I have one question. Does this mean League of Legends takes place in the Marvel Universe? Shortly before the NFL draft yesterday, EA announced that the cover athlete for the next edition of the Madden franchise, Madden 2020, will be Patrick Mahomes. The Kansas City Chiefs quarterback is the third youngest player to receive the honor, and he led the NFL in touchdowns and passing yards last year. In Madden 2019, Mahomes' player rating started at 77 before increasing to 94 as the season progressed. In an interview, Mahomes said that he expects to be rated 100 in the new game, and trust me, good luck getting EA to give you that number. It's a great time to be Sony because the newest financial report states that the PlayStation 4 has sold 96.8 million units worldwide. That's an increase of over 17 million compared to last year, making the PS4 one of the best-selling consoles of all time. It's set to reach 100 million in sales faster than the Nintendo Wii and is currently on pace to match the PlayStation 2's sales record. Overall, Sony's Game and Network Services division had its best year ever with over $20 billion in sales. And with the PlayStation 5 on the way, the good times will keep on rolling.
Still crawling forward. He's got all the members of 17 in front of him. He could take the shot. He could go for the grenade. What's he gonna do? He's just sneaking up back behind it. Is this gonna be the turning point? Can Captain come up big? It's gonna land right on their feet. Oh my God! Captain just destroyed 17 Gaming.
Are you kidding me?
Through different points, and you can see that was Cloud9 going for the grenade that gets caught on the push out of it. And that's BB taking the shots back on one angle. It's gonna be Insight getting spotted out as well. And look at that. That is gonna be the Blue Bees walking away with 11 kills.
Hey everybody, it's eSports in 30, where we deep dive into your favorite esports, and today the F in Friday stands for FPS because we're talking about PUBG Global Summit. Also for Fry because I'm AJ Fry. This is Zurich here with me on the couch. We're excited to chat PUBG for the first time on eSports in 30 because unlike Fork Knife, I've actually logged about 1,000 hours into PUBG. You played as well.
Oh yeah, half as much as you have.
And you're twice as good as me, so that works out perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. I'm not sure though.
So what's your favorite loadout in PUBG?
Definitely the Scar L.
The Scar L, not
fully
the M416 as everyone typically goes.
Yeah, I like the. It feels like it's it's easier to shoot it.
Okay.
For me, so it's like to spray and delete
spray and
people.
pray.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a lot easier. And also the Car 98,
Of
just
course.
to get rid of that long range fight.
Same boat. Car 98, 6x scope on there. And then my secondary, though I did read an article where someone said, don't run this combo, but screw that. I like what I like. And my secondary gun is the Vector, which they just switched to 9mm ammo.
Nice.
By the way. Yeah.
So a lot more ammo.
Yes, I need to find, well, you get more of it, and you spray more of it with that extended quick mag. All right, enough of us chatting the nitty gritty. We got someone else coming up in just a bit. Before that, here are some highlights.
Captain still crawling forward. He's got all the members of 17 in front of him. He could take the shot. He could go for the grenade. What's he gonna do? He's just sneaking up back behind it. Is this gonna be the turning point? Can Captain come up big? It's gonna land right on their feet. Oh my God! Captain just destroyed 17 Gaming.
All that utility they could pick up off of the dead members of 17. He can make it rain here onto Waikikamuka. Waikikamuka does get the first aid off that grenade. Just a little too far, but he's so weak for him. Getting good, he just misses the shot.
He makes it into cover, but it doesn't matter. 4 a.m. Run away with that and get 8 kills off of Captain's massive play.
He tries to free fire. Style doesn't bait. Style is being very patient here. He's waiting. He gets the knock. AFF takes game number 1.
That's going to be Juicy gone down. Now 3 left standing and off the long. Shocks absolutely tearing them limb from limb. What a play from this man. Where is your remainder? Oh, it doesn't matter. Incognito, get deleted. How do they break back into this new circle? Shoot to kill. Oh, they've been caught out by Homeboyer. He's been slowly working his way forward. That's 2 kills. He's in a third. Pretty good, he goes down. Try and find Homeboyer, but this man is an animal. He's found so many before. Can he do it again? Surely not. 6 grenade. No way. Homeboyer has just found Indigo and the nade came out of his hands. This guy is about to go off. Surely not. He's found another kill. That's 5 in a row. He's spotted Jack. Oh my God, this is insanity from Homeboyer.
trying to use it to stranglehold, get more and more control, force BB to funnel through different points, and you can see that was Cloud9 going for the grenade, but gets caught on the push out of it, and that's BB taking the shots back on one angle. It's gonna be Insight getting spotted out as well, and look at that. That is gonna be the Blue Bees walking away with 11 kills.
It always feels like C900. They're driving seat, that's a double tap straight to the brain.
They're somehow managing to at least right the ship as it goes through.
Yep, there is Rascal getting chased down here by Bobo. No beginning ranges. Oh my goodness, some nice shots with the Mini 14 there by Bobo. There's tons of smokes coming out. 17 making a move.
Here we go. Look at all the smoke that's down in play, and that beautiful grenade coming out from Abisa, getting it down on the 2 members, and Abisa is just absolutely on fire at this hilltop. He is just destroying 17.
What you can get away with. How low? Was that 2?
Double headshot. Literally ding, ding, thank you, bye-bye. There might be scenarios where they literally just kill him.
I think they might do. Sharky, he can't do it. It's DG98. And I'm pretty sure the Rangers might have just pushed themselves.
London, will you please put your hands together for your Global Summit champions, OP Gaming!
That clutch nade from Captain may go down as one of the sickest plays in PUBG history, and today we're super thrilled to welcome the sickest PUBG guest. Nice segue to help us go over everything from Global Summit. It's Mustache Dave, what's up?
Yo, what up, gentlemen? What up? Thanks for having me. Mustache Dave, live from Miami.
Live from Miami. It's got a great ring to
Miami.
it. So you are certainly up on the PUBG scene. I've played a whole bunch. For the longest time, it was my favorite Battle Royale game, although lately I've been getting into the Apex Legends. But PUBG is sustained in spite of this overly saturated Battle Royale market. Why do you think it has the staying power?
Apex Legends. I mean, PUBG. You can't just bind your bunny hop to your scroll wheel. Oh, I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, it's got money. It's got the esports scene, and it's just growing. I mean, we're going into phase 2 of the phase of the PUBG Global League. We just saw FACEIT happen about a week ago. Those numbers were phenomenal, especially the Chinese numbers. From my understanding, they turned on the stream and 500,000 people automatically watching it. You heard the crowd. You mentioned the captain play. The crowd was cheering for him. I mean, that was probably the highlight of that tournament for sure. Around 400,000 views on the Reddit post for that play alone. So it's just attracting people. I mean, people might have dropped the game for a little bit, right? They forgot about it. But with all these updates, they're coming back, baby. They're coming back.
Well, do you think the mobile market is even feeding into that a little bit? Because I know on our show a couple of weeks back, we were talking about the launch of a mobile esports tournament as well.
Yeah.
Do you think mobile's feeding into it?
I mean, they're separate, right? They're different companies. I guess kind of the same game, but the mobile, they just announced they have like a cup going. They have a roadmap for the next 2 years with around $2.5 million in prize pool. So mobile's big, and it's free, so anybody can play it. So maybe if you play mobile, you might want to try out the PC version, but in my opinion, completely separate games. I mean, mobile, you got like a zombie game mode and all these skins on the vehicles, which we see kind of implemented in the PC version as far as skins go, maybe some inspiration, but completely different games, in my opinion.
Okay, so for those, for the people who are kind of new to watching VR, can you explain to us, break it down, how the point system for specifically this FACEIT tournament worked out?
Yeah. Well, before FACEIT and the Global League kind of started this year, the points were all everywhere, right? Different tournaments, different cups had their own point structures, and it got to a point where the average viewer was just super confused and lost. And they voiced their opinions, the pro players voiced their opinions, and we came on this universal rule set. So pretty much, I believe top 8, they get awarded points. First place is like 10 points, it goes down from there. Each kill is worth 1 point, and all the leagues worldwide use the same point structure, the same circle settings, the same ammo, loot settings. As far as we even have hard spawns for vehicles in esports mode. So it's all universal now. Everybody's playing on the same playing field and are able to practice on the same rules. And the viewers, in my opinion, are able to keep up to date with this because, like we mentioned, everybody's using the same rules now, same points, and that's that. Yeah.
That's very important, a bit of consistency, because I remember playing around, when the game first came out, going like, this is so random.
Yeah.
I drop in this city one time and I get 2 AKs right at the get-go, and then drop in the same building the next game. I'm like, oh great, I got my little
handgun. No.
Yeah, and even the vehicles, like being in a specific spot all the time, like teams can actually plan to just land.
Get that one.
Yeah. So I see teams like one guy is always just like off somewhere grabbing a vehicle, and everybody else is looting, and then they all converge back with their ride.
Well, let's talk about the team that came out of the pack on the top. First place, OP Gaming Rangers. They sustained throughout the tournament, staying in the top 10. They had that early 13-kill round in round 3. What makes this team so good, and why are they so fun to watch?
Well, two players in particular stick out to me, and that's DG98 and Mutual. All right. Now, if you go into the stats, you look at their stats, both those players, let's see real quick. DG98 was number 4 as far as most kills, and Mutual was number 6, and that's out of 64 players. And if you go on to longest survive times, like who survives the longest, they hold the first and second spot. So in my mind, if they have a rough game, I'm looking at the scores real quick. They go out in 5th place, 3rd place, something like that. They might lose some members early on. They have these two guys that are dedicated to trying to survive and get those placement points, and transition into the circles as safely as possible without being spotted. So we see that with the stats, and we see that with their consistent scores in the 12 games that they did play to take home the victory there.
Wow, that's very impressive. I think that's nuts.
I think it's impressive.
Yeah. Let's move on to Team Liquid, who made it 3rd. They're identical twins, I think, Samdi and Jempi. Do you think there's some sort of like brotherly synergy? I know I play a lot with my brother, and sometimes we don't have.
Really.
Yeah, and we don't have to talk sometimes. Do you think this is the case for these two?
They also got 2nd place in Phase 1 of PEL. That's the PUBG Europe League. So consistent team, in my opinion. At first, when they first started playing together, there was some growing pains, and I'm sure a lot of the community could agree with me on that one. But over time, I believe they have been able to improve their communication skills. Not only that, they picked up a coach, 17, who is a previous professional PUBG player for NA. And since then, in my opinion, along with the coach, they have been doing a great job. And, I work PEL. I'm a stage interviewer, so I get to see like the behind the scenes type of thing. And Team Liquid, the only team, after every single game, they wait at their computers for their coach to come, and they break down the whole entire game. All the other teams, they're eating chips, they're eating hot dogs, they're taking their break, they're watching the VODs. But the discipline, because I believe 17 used to be in the military, so he's kind of using that military discipline to train his team. He does that, so after every game, they go over the VODs. I believe he doesn't allow them to use their phones after every game, kind of to avoid being tilted and reading Twitter and all that stuff. So they are extremely focused right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take 1st place here in Phase number 2 of PEL coming up.
That's it's cool he brought up coaching, because I often host the show. Well, I always host the show on Tuesdays with Ron, who is an Overwatch team coach, and we talk about the importance of coaches involved in that sport. But I hadn't really considered coaching for PUBG. Is this something you would recommend to other teams? And you were mentioning the other guys just go after the game and just start partying. How critical is a coach to succeeding in a battle royale type environment?
They don't go out partying. They don't go out partying, but
that's what
they
you
definitely.
Said. You said they go off partying. That was a direct quote.
But they do pick up their phones. You see them scrolling through Twitter, all that, Instagram, and this is in the middle of a season, I guess you can say. So say you have a bad game, you turn to your phone to kind of relieve that pressure. You could also get tilted, because I know when I watch VODs on Twitch, there's some comments there. You can get tilted pretty easily, and that mindset going into the next game is just something that you don't want to have. So there's a couple different coaches right now. There's an analyst coach that breaks down the plays, the circles, and then there's a mental coach that kind of just keeps the team focused. Some teams, they do not have coaches, but they are actively seeking coaches. And not only that, coaches, I believe, they get a ticket, they get a hotel voucher with the Pro League, so they get paid for. There's no reason not to be a coach, because it's not like you're coming out your own pocket. So I definitely feel like coaching is important. PUBG esports, it's still fairly new, so it might not be a common practice for a lot of these teams, but as we progress within the scene, I think every team will have a coach coming up in the end of this year for sure.
Well, maybe Captain will move on to coaching after that amazing 4K squad wipe against 17 Gaming. You mentioned it off the top, but we got to talk more about it. How excited were you when that play happened?
I mean, the caster did a phenomenal job building up the hype. Captain was crawling on the ground. The crowd, they were holding their breath. He cooked the grenade so perfect, and it just bloop, right on top of 17 Gaming. The crowd went crazy. A lot of 4 AM fans over there. And then, not only that, he had an interview at the end of the game. I don't know if you guys recall. He had some nice gold aviators on. He was just chilling. He was so calm in that interview. He was straight chilling. And I was like, man, this guy, he's on another level. If you haven't seen his interview, I would recommend go watch it, because that's probably the best interview I've ever seen.
I mean, given that PUBG is fighting for so many eyeballs right now, for eyeballs right now, because there's so many VRs, how much of a difference can a huge, potentially iconic play like this make in grabbing people's attention again?
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned, it went on front page of Reddit. Everybody was talking about that day, and even a week later, around 400,000 views on that clip alone. So with PUBG, it's ultra realistic. I believe that's the category it's in, a realistic VR. A lot of people are into that kind of art style, and you know, with the improvements, with the patches that they keep coming out, they keep bringing you back in. Like a patch just got released a couple days ago where you can level up your guns. You can mastery your guns. You get little trinkets, little keychains for your guns. It's these small touches that I believe keeps people coming back to PUBG, to play PUBG, to grind PUBG. And now if we can kind of introduce that esports, that casual player, I believe the esports side will also grow alongside the game itself.
Yeah, I mentioned Apex Legends earlier, and it is fun, but there's nothing in any game as satisfying as landing like a 400-meter Car 98 headshot in PUBG. There's
just the sound.
Instant gratification of that moment.
Yeah.
Going back to the tournament, Shoot to Kill, they came in second place, became immediately sponsored by Lazarus. Why are Shoot to Kill one to watch out for? What's the strength of their roster? And will they fare better with this shiny new sponsor in Lazarus?
Hold on, one second. I play Apex, I play Fortnite, I play PUBG, all right? I play them all. So I'm not really biased when it comes to that, just to go back to that. But Shoot to Kill, yeah, I believe they got 4th place in their league for the NPL, phase number 1, so they were pretty good right there. And then, what was it, 2nd place for the FACEIT Global. If they would have got 4 more points in that last game, they would have tied with the OP Rangers. And since they had 1 more kill, they would have won the game, actually, when it comes to the deciding factor for tiebreakers. But I'm happy for them. Lazarus picking them up. It's the same team, Purdy Curdy, Uncivil, Adam, and Alo with, I don't know if you guys know, but Adam, his brother, I believe is also his twin brother, Adam Dids, is the coach. So there's some synergy with that. And every event, he comes looking hella fly wearing suits. I mean, he takes his job super serious, and they just have a good support system behind them, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a roster that we're going to see just continue to improve throughout the days that they continue playing here, especially with NPL coming up, I believe, May 5th. So keep your eye on that.
Will do.
Yeah. Well, with so many, PUBG is one of those scenes where it just has so many international teams. There's so many different teams from different regions. Watching this tournament, did you see any differences in play styles between the regions?
I mean, it kind of goes back to what we mentioned earlier on, as far as the same types of rule sets and settings that everybody plays on. Because a couple of months ago, right? Different regions were playing third person, first person. So there's a big controversy over that, over the settings. But since they introduced these universal rule sets, everybody's on the same type of playing field, right? So with that being said, I believe the only challenges when it comes to these global events is deciding where you want to drop. As we saw in the FACEIT, there's a couple teams dropping Pachinki. They were fighting each other nonstop. So it's really, do you want to continue dropping in that spot and risk getting taken out in 15th, 16th, and jeopardizing your tournament? Because there's only 12 games in the finals. There's only 12 games. So three bad games there going out early. Like we said, Shoot to Kill, they were 4 points behind first place. It's going to hurt you. So these teams, when it comes to international levels, I feel like they learn something new, and that's to come to these events with a backup plan. You know, have a different drop location, so you know if you get contested, you got somewhere else you go, and you feel confident in yourself.
Well, you used a word I want to touch on right there, event. It seems like compared to some of these other esports, BRs are something special when you go see them live. I've been to lots of other esports, and it's usually, you know, one team versus another in the match. The match ends, that's the winner, that's the loser. But when we're watching Battle Royale, it's so many teams facing off against one another
And
in
live,
one game.
right beside each other.
Exactly. So what is that experience like of being there watching BR live?
Yeah, because you got like 16 different teams, right? So, you know, I believe right now we're in that point where these rivalries are starting to happen. And I'm going to bring it up again. FACEIT, we saw Pachinki, Liquid, and Cloud9. Even 17 they were there as well. But Liquid and Cloud9 building up to this event, the hype, the rivalry behind who's going to drop in Pachinki and win Pachinki was super big. We even saw on Twitter the players going back at it with each other, people retweeting it, people tagging on board like, hey, Cloud9's going to win easy. Liquid, you better shoo away. I spoke to some of the Liquid players. They're like, listen, we're going to drop Pachinki all day long. So that rivalry was not only in-game, but out of game, and it allowed kind of the fans to bandwagon on top of that and get behind which side they want to cheer for. So I think it's good. You know, fans have options on who to cheer for, and there's 16 different options. So you're bound to be cheering for at least one team for sure.
With all of that, everything that we've been talking about so far, where do you see PUBG going into 2019? What is the future of the esport?
Well, I mean, like we mentioned, it's kind of separate, but PUBG Mobile, they got that 2-year roadmap. They got $2.5 million behind them, so they're going to be good with their events. And then there's a roadmap also for the competitive side of PUBG on PC. They're going to be fine as well, in my opinion. It's just growing. I mean, every stream that they turn on, there's more viewers every time. These global events, they keep one-upping each other, increasing their production levels as far as the AI goes, the stats, the live trackers go. Gifting of skins during the actual stream. So that interaction, very important. And each organizer, in my opinion, is learning from the last one and improving on that to increase that that viewer experience. And at the end of the day, that's what's important, because we need to get those casuals that play the game over to the esports side of things and get them involved.
Well, we're so glad that you were involved with our show today. Mustache Dave, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I know I was talking fast. I just had an espresso, but reporting live from Miami, Mustache Dave. Thanks, gentlemen.
You know, Zurich, looking at Mustache Dave, I have to wonder if PUBG will ever add a Mustache Dave custom skin to the game.
I hope so. Yeah. I really hope so.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think some people would be excited by that. All right, it is FPS Friday, which means we got to close out with a survey of the ridiculous amount of news from the FPS world and various games. You ready for this, Zurich?
I'm ready.
All right, well, hit me up with some COD stats, because we're heading into Call of Duty World League. It is coming up this coming weekend. And there was a whole merger between Accelerate and Red Reserve, like selling off players. What's going on here, Zurich?
There's a lot of just roster moves. It's the innate, natural COD. Yeah. There's always just, nobody is ever set into stone. Like, no one is playing in the same team. There are a few teams that are probably going to be consistent, namely like LG or Optics. Hopefully they're going to take this tournament, but everybody else up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to win. Some days, again, in COD fashion, sometimes some teams are just like on fire that one day, and then the next day they're absolutely getting pooped on.
Right.
So we really don't know. Don't bet in COD at all, because it's just super random.
I gotta make a call right now. But I gotta
cancel all your bets.
Cancel all my bets.
Yeah.
Should we look at who we're looking at for on FaZe? We got Scrap Zero, Zuma, Celium, and ASIM, which is kind of like a combo of their B team and some members of Red Reserve. And then Elevate is running Profizi, Whalers, Skies, Breezy, and M. Ruiz, which is Accelerate and Denial. And then Denial is now running Brack, Alex, Bance, Rated, and Joe, which is the majority of Red Reserve, and then some other players. Now, what's cool about this upcoming tournament, though, is that they actually offer a non-pro player stream, right?
Yeah, so there's a tournament. So there's an open bracket tournament where anyone like me and you can join.
We could.
But we'll probably get
I need to start playing a lot more Call of Duty.
Yeah,
and it's not Battle Royale mode like that everyone was excited about.
No. It's 5 versus 5. You know, you run through your regular COD maps, competitive maps, and yeah, but it's just open for the public. Whoever wants to join can join. It's pretty cool.
But they never go toe-to-toe against the pros.
No, but there are a lot of teams or orgs that join in their academy, or not academy teams, but technically they're B teams.
Got it.
Which usually ends up winning the entire tournament anyway. So it's really like a tournament for the B teams.
Yeah, it's the B team tournament.
Yeah.
Which like Joe Schmo from the street can enter if he thinks he wants to part with some of his money.
Yeah, if you want to. If you want to.
All right, well, let's talk Rainbow Six Pro League Finals. They're locked in for Milan in May. There's 2 teams from North America, I should say, 2 teams from Europe, 2 from Asia Pacific, and 2 from Latin America. And 1-2 that didn't make it is G2.
Yes, so G2 is just one of those teams that is always really good on LAN.
Yeah.
But as soon as they play online, everything doesn't work out for them. It's super weird. It's usually the opposite.
Yeah, teams fall apart when they're in person with the crowd watching.
Exactly.
But these guys are the opposite.
They're the opposite. They don't like playing at home.
Okay.
They prefer playing with a crowd. They like it when people are watching them. It's super weird.
Whatever works for you. So then, of the teams that will be represented here, who should people be looking out for? Who are the hot teams to keep our eyes on?
I mean, there are a lot of good teams. Personally, me though, I am going to be looking for EG because our boy Canadian is on it, and he's literally my neighbor.
Oh, yeah?
He lives like 5 minutes away from me. He's been on the show before, and then I was just like, we could have just, I Ubered him in, and I was like, we could have just carpooled. You literally, I can pretty much see his house from like my bedroom.
It's like Lisa and I, we live in the same neighborhood.
Exactly.
We carpool often. All right, let's talk CSGO. Of course, IM Sydney is coming up. The group stages are starting very soon. No Astralis, they are on break. They also skipped the Star Series. Now, this is a pretty ridiculous tournament. What goes on there down in Australia?
Well, there's a lot of just things that happen. It's a very fun tournament. They do shoeies, which is where they drink beer out of their own shoe.
Right.
Who
hasn't done a few shoeies back in their day?
Yeah, it's super weird to pitch to someone, and it's super weird to agree to do it. Anyway, it's a thing that they do. Going back to Astralis, it's very interesting to see them miss this many tournaments. They've done this before. They do breaks, and then they show up, and then they just sweep all the tournaments for the rest of the year. Specifically the majors, they win most of it. And it's just one of those things. It's like, is it better to take breaks? Or
maybe
I don't know,
if you're Astralis, it seems to be working for them. So without them there, who are we looking at? Because Navi won't be there as either.
Yeah, so Navi won the Star Series, and they were phenomenal there as well. But this time, since both those 2 teams are missing, we will have FaZe, which also popped off the last tournament unexpectedly. No one expected them to make it to the finals, and even there's a clip actually of I think they were playing against Team Liquid, where the Team Liquid manager told the players that they're playing against FaZe in the finals. They were kind of just like, what? We're playing FaZe? Anyway, FaZe Clan, look out for them.
Really?
They might be able to take the entire thing. We don't know. We also have Team Liquid, obviously, our NA with Stewie 2K. My boy, I love watching that guy. He is just, when he pops off, he's on, and it's just, there's something about his attitude. He's just like, he doesn't care. It's just, 2v1, you know, like 1v4, it doesn't matter. It doesn't phase him. He can do it. So look out for Team Liquid and the other team that I said FaZe.
Well, it wouldn't be FPS Friday unless we touched on the Fortnite, this new Avengers Endgame tie-in. So how does this all work? Because you can get like Avengers items, Captain America's shield, Iron Man's gauntlets, Thor's axe, and Hawkeye's bow. And then the other team, the bad guy team, has access to Thanos?
Yeah, so it's an LTM, limited time mode.
Okay.
It's team-based, 20 versus 20 with a limited amount of spawns. So the evil team, or the Thanos team, their main goal is to, and they are Chitaris, by the way, like the bad guys from the very first Avengers that attacked New York. And so they have lasers, jetpacks, and I think like a grenade that can destroy structures. And their main goal is to collect all the Infinity Stones. So as soon as one of them gets the first Infinity Stone, that player turns into Thanos.
So as the Avengers, you're trying to stop them from getting the Infinity.
Exactly. So the hero team, they start off with maps. It's kind of like a legendary map that it's within your loadout, and it tells you where the mythical weapons are.
Got it.
Which includes the Avengers weapons. Yeah. So your goal is to just kill as many of the Chitauri as you can to get rid of their respawns. But on the other side, the Chitauri has to get all of the Infinity Stones, which, by the way, adds buffs to Thanos himself. So each stone has a different thing.
Isn't it just going to be a bunch of players trying to get to be Thanos first?
So there's very good incentives on both sides, because it's equally cool, but I think it is cooler to be in the evil side, just because you can be Thanos.
Well, let's talk more incentives, because are there any for these esports organizations to be signing Apex Legends players right now? Because there's no custom game mode in Apex Legends. There's no official tournament. So why are we seeing this influx of so many of these teams announcing that they've signed Apex Legends players?
Yeah, it's. I mean, in most of the BRs, this also happened. There was a very everybody signed their players in the beginning of the game, even though there was no custom lobbies. The pros were actually not fighting against each other. Apex is kind of doing the same thing. It's all about just, honestly, the more you play, the better your stats will look, right? Because it's just like the better you get and the more games. And if you're averaging like 10 kills per game, your stats are going to look ridiculous. And there is no real way to even follow your stats yet.
So is this maybe just a little bit of these esports organizations that want to attach their names to popular streamers because there's no prize pools?
Yeah, maybe, but it works the opposite way too. So it's like sometimes it's the orgs would just get random people that are really, really good at the game and then boost them up to, if they actually have a personality. TSM Fortnite did this exactly, where they signed, Daquan, Hamlins, and they were just like, these guys are really not the best players in the world, but they are super entertaining, and they're very big personalities that they pretty much harness to get more fans into the TSM bandwagon, right? So that's kind of what's happening in both ends. So it's players that are popular getting sponsored by orgs, and also players that are not popular getting sponsored by orgs. But I'm assuming their contracts are probably going to be super short.
Yeah, short-term contracts.
Yeah, and if not, you can be terminated instantly.
Apex Legends just released this huge news update, a big blog, and it did not contain the words tournament or esports. It was just about quality of life updates and that sort of stuff. But unfortunately, everyone, that is all the time that we have for you on the show tonight. But don't worry, we will be back next week with another 5 days of shows for you. Thank you to Mustache Dave again for calling in. On Monday, Matt and Lisa will be talking League of Legends, and of course, there'll be FGC, Rocket League, and more FPS content for you all the days after that, including Overwatch on Tuesdays, the workshop announcement. Ron and I will have lots to talk about there. Follow us on our socials at Squad State. See you in the future. Go watch Endgame.
After watching Endgame last night, I have to say I'm probably going to jump back into Fortnite because that freaking update is just roping me back in. I want to be an Avenger, and it's not fair. Not fair. Remember, we're back here starting again on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern with gameplay live from the green room. Then again at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have more Unmuted. And in esports in 30, it's league time. Till then, you can tune into our socials and our YouTube channel for all the VODs in case you missed anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you Monday.